welcome to Don Candy TV. As we promise you that every weekend we are going to compile the major news headlines within the week and bring it to you or bring them to you in your various outlets or homes. Today too, we've come to your homes again, and as we know, let's start quickly with the president's address, 10th address to the nation, as we dealt with it recently. But let's go to the education aspect, where he has outlined, or he and his team of experts have outlined measures for final year students of almost all the educational institutions in the country to go back to school from 7th to start preparations for their final exams. So we know final year students of the universities will go on from 7th of June to go and prepare for the exam, whilst even Legon has already given out the news that they will start the exams on the 8th of June. In final year senior high students will also go back to school and go track. Second year senior high students will also go back to school, and they are all going to prepare for their exam, or the final year students are going to prepare for the exams. And we know that they are not supposed to be more than 20 in a class. Yeah, so they are going to have also boarding institutions or senior high schools that have boarding facilities. Now, first years and most of the second years are not going. So all the boarders, all the day students in boarding institutions can also go to the boarding house, so that they will not be moving in and out and be bringing, maybe if they get a disease home, but we want to have all the students in a confined environment, so that when maybe there is an outbreak or maybe there's a suspicion of someone, we will know how to trace their contacts and also deal with it. So these are the measures put in place by the president in terms of education, and university students to, as I said earlier, will go back to school and prepare. Final year students will go back and prepare. They're also not supposed to be in their classroom or the lecture theaters, not more than 25 students in a room.
From Monday, 15th June, the decision has been taken after engagement with the teacher unions, whose cooperation I salute, to reopen schools and universities to allow for final year junior high, senior high, and university students to resume classes ahead of the conduct of their respective exit examinations. Indeed, final year university students are to report to their universities on 15th June. Final year senior high school SHS3 students, together with SHS2 Go Track students, on 22nd June. And final year junior high school JHS3 students on 29th June. JHS3 classes will comprise a maximum of 30 students. SHS classes a maximum of 25 students. And university lectures will take place with half the class sizes.
Of this, then the Minister of Education, Honorable Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, popularly known as Napo, also granted interviews to certain media. He first went to Asempa FM and later went to Peace FM, and he outlined, or he emphasized on the measures that have been put in place, and also he further on stressed that people are accusing this government of not completing the e-blocks that the former President John Dramani Mahama started. But according to him, that is not true. That the current government has paid 900 million cedis debt left by the former administration to contractors to make sure that they've completed the e-blocks. So according to him, contractors who are lackadaisical, who are lazy and not doing a good job, they are planning to take their contracts from them, so that they'll give it to serious contractors who will be able to work on the projects. And because as we are having FSHS, we need to make sure that we have enough classrooms and facilities to accommodate the students. And also, he also stressed that this government started over 800 projects, new projects, to make sure, especially boarding facilities and classrooms, and they have completed almost 236 or 286 projects have been completed and under this government. So they are doing very well when it comes to infrastructure in education, making sure that they will make sure they eradicate the double track system. But we need facilities to eradicate the double track system. And he also stressed that the previous administration left Ghana nothing in education except debts. He outlined so many debts, including even the progressively free senior high that was started under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, which for day students, which he did not even pay a penny. Also, the sandals that President Mahama promised to give to senior high students in deprived communities that he started sharing, they took them on, how do you call it? They didn't pay for any. And it's this government who came in to pay any feeding grant for, previously the 3 northern regions were on free SHS, and this government came in to pay for all their feeding grants for almost a year and beyond. So they have done well in the sector of education. We are in 2020 and it's an election year, as you know, and the president has released certain restrictions that political parties can have political meetings not exceeding a number of 100 people. So the Electoral Commission can also conduct their registration, making sure that they don't have more than 100 people at a polling station. The National Identification Authority can also go on with their registrations, making sure they don't have people more than 100 at a registration center. But we know the NDC and other opposition political parties, some opposition political parties came together as coalition for the resistance of the new voters register. They went to court as Benefson advised them way back, because we know the new CI that has been sent to Parliament says that if you don't have a passport or a national identification card, you can't register, or you need people, 5 people who have got a card to testify that truly you are a Ghanaian to register, because we have been complaining that our voter register is bloated, comparing our number of people or population to the voter register. We think it's bloated, and we think it's been infiltrated by foreigners in neighboring countries around us, and we want to take all of them out. So we want to make sure anybody who is registered this time around is a Ghanaian and truly a Ghanaian. So when the NDC went to court, the Supreme Court, that's the highest court of the land, has ordered the EC to come back to explain to them why they think the old register cannot be a yardstick, or cannot be, you can't use that as an evidence to register, as a Ghanaian to register. Yes, and there has been argument that old register, we think it is infiltrated with lots of foreigners. So if anybody at all can come with it and says, I have the past register, so I'm a Ghanaian, so allow me to register, then we think we've done nothing, because those foreigners that we think are foreigners and have the cards will also come or enter the country. Even if some of them are still in the country, they can also register. So we think, I think maybe the EC can go and defend themselves well. So it's left to the EC and their lawyers, and I think the Attorney General also was there to represent. We'll wait and see the response they are going to give from next week, and we'll give you the update. This news is brought to you by the 2 herb producers of quality peanuts, or quality shea butter, quality and natural honey, and quality and tasteful groundnut paste produced from the finest peanuts from the northern part of Ghana. And also Hills Hair Bonnet. Hills Hair Bonnet, producers of quality silk hair bonnets. When you contact them, they are in Kumasi. They will package it nicely and send to you. The ages of nets for ladies are over. Guys, buy hair bonnets, quality, beautiful hair bonnets for your ladies. Now, we are still on elections, and the Electoral Commission, the current Electoral Commissioner, Madam or Mrs. Jane Mensah, when she assumed office, said even their IT department doesn't have access to their software. It is controlled by a foreign agency, and she thought it wasn't correct. And also she said that the current biometric devices most of them are not working well, and they are not in existence, or they are not in the market. The company that produces are no more in business, so they can't have replacement. So they think they have to bring in new kits to do a new form of registration. And this time they said they are going to take facial recognition, thumbprints, and a whole lot. The previous one had eye recognition and a whole lot. So this time I think they are adding more value, more recognitions, or more biometric or biodata. So this is what, so now the equipments are in town, and they have the green light to start the registration, and they started piloting of the registration exercise in some parts of the Volta region. And according to the Electoral Commission, it was successful. They had a successful pilot, and they think currently they've been able to identify certain challenges with the machine, or maybe things they didn't understand well in terms of how to use the machines. They've understood very well, and they are going to go ahead with the registration. So we are looking forward to see. And the NDC that has been opposing the Electoral Commission were at the various polling stations where the pilots was going on to represent themselves to see how things are going. So actually, maybe they were just making noise in the media. So let's see how peaceful this is going to be, as people have been threatening to be chaos. And as some people have also cautioned the Electoral Commission not to take the threats of the NDC as empty threats. They should protect themselves very well. Make sure the security are on the standby in case of anybody trying to cause chaos or mayhem at a polling station or a registration center. That person will be dealt with drastically and will not, so that the person cannot disrupt the registration process. You are watching Weekly News Update on Don Candy TV, brought to you by Adetu Hub, producers of quality shea butter, natural quality shea butter, quality granite paste, tasteful granite paste, and also very natural honey that helps child's brain to develop very well. And also Hills Hair Bonnet, producers of hair bonnets from quality silk material. Yes, we're going to government stories, or let's say the Minister for Works and Housing, Honorable Atta Achia, has also addressed the media and also spoke to Parliament, or addressed some issues in Parliament, and also outlined. He was asked why the Saglemi buildings have not been released to Ghanaians to use, because it was under the affordable housing project. That was the mentality that we used to to go into that project, because we want to build enough housing system for Ghanaians to go. Landlords and landladies just increase the price of rent anyhow, and they charge over 2-3 years rent that some people cannot even afford to be in them. So in 2012, beginning 2013, the then President John Dramani Mahama brought in consultants or contractors to start this project, and they went to Parliament to tell Parliament that we are taking this amount to start a business, or to start the construction of 5,000 units of housing. And now the contractor has just done something around 1,000, and it's not even finished. And they say the money has finished, and they've used all the money, which we don't understand, because a nation, we had a contract with the contractor that we want 5,000 units of housing at this price, at this cost, and the contractor accepted. And now this same contractor has taken more than 90% of the amount, and he has only delivered on 1,000 units of housing. So according to Honorable Atacha, they sent in government surveyors and AES, or quantity surveyors, to go and assess the work done and the cost, so that they will bring it to the Attorney General's Department, and the Attorney General's Department will advise the Ministry of Works and Housing to proceed to whether to go to court or not. But they know definitely they are going to start prosecuting certain individuals or in the past government who were involved in the contractual agreements, and also the supervision of the work and release of funds to the contract. Please subscribe to the channel and share our videos for others. So this is Don Candy TV. Yes, you are on the Weekly News Update. Yes, this week, yes, June 4th, 41 years ago, His Excellency the former President, Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, pulled out, became the leader or the head of state of the country through the gun, and with the help of some soldiers or his friends in the military. Yes, and then every year he said, before the era of President Kufuor, even June 4th was a holiday in our country, and the President Kufuor administration took that away from our constitution. So every year he celebrates. He used to have Debras in various parts of the country he chooses, but now because of the coronavirus, you can't have such events, or you can't have a deba anywhere, you can't group people. So the former president did a virtual, that is, he did online address to the nation, and it was chaired by Koku Anyidoho, and then he asked the former president, he outlined certain issues in the country. It was under the theme that is, it was a fantastic team, and they addressed the nation. So he also spoke about this voter registration that the electoral commission should bring on board everybody who matters in the electoral process of our country, to make sure that they agree on the consensus, or they achieve the purpose for which because we shouldn't be in a country where we want to do something and people don't agree to it. He also addressed the coronavirus pandemic that has taken over the world. So that is about it. June 4th, Chairman Rawlings was at it again, but this time he didn't get the crowd as he was always able to pull, but rather he did a virtual address, and it was chaired by the former General Secretary of the NDC, that is Koku Anyidoho. Yes, we know as the coronavirus took over the world, or even our country when it came into existence, and measures outlined by the government and the Interministerial Committee on the Coronavirus Pandemic, they took in measures to make sure that we curb the spread. So they asked commercial drivers to reduce the number of people. We know the trotro, the normal van that we used to be on board, used to carry 3 passengers on each seat at the back. They were asked to do it 2-2. Taxis were supposed to carry only 2 passengers at the back, and they are going to lose revenue. According to them, one, they were not allowed to increase fares, and also they've asked the government to reduce fuels, or the price of fuel on several occasions that the president or the government has refused to. So they are now sounding a word of caution to Ghanaians, not the government, but Ghanaians, that from Monday, if fuel prices do not go down, when you come on board any commercial vehicle, expect 20% increase. So just calculate 20% of what you paid recently, and then add top up with it when you are going to town or going anywhere. So that is what the commercial drivers, the warning they've given, because those who are also going long distance and other stuff have also been giving those directives to make sure that they reduce the passengers. So definitely, maybe they are right, and something should be done about it for them, and make sure that these drivers are also, they can also be in business and can also get money to take care of their family. Also know within the week, Kofi Adumawani, owner of Kofi TV on YouTube and other social media channels, and who is also currently the director of news at Angel 102.9 FM in Accra, was invited by the police CID. Proud to the president's 10th address to the nation, Kofi Adumawani came out with certain things he expects the president to talk about, and he was almost 70 to 90% right. So the CID invited him, and they don't know what kind of intelligence that Kofi Adumawani has got in the presidency or at the presidency that gave him access to all those things. Maybe he made predictions from his, or he thought, well, he knew the president himself wants his political party to organize their primaries and have their MPs, and also he also knew the president himself wanted the voters register to go on, so he's going to release certain restrictions so that these institutions can have accesses to do whatever they want to do in their political parties and also the electoral commission. So maybe he did that on his assumption or predictions, and he got them right. Yes, and so the police invited him, and he went there to also address the issue. So now we'll see whether the police are going to caution him or process him for court or whatever. So that was about Kofi Adumawani. And then also on the entertainment front, Funny Face, his first wife came out to say that he's a 2 minutes man, and that's why she was, there were rumors of the woman cheating. And also later on, God gave him he found another woman, and he had twins with that woman. But unfortunately, when he had a beef with Kojun Kansa, when he said Kojun Kansa has advised his wife to take his twins away from the house, and according to him, now he's granted an interview and said that his marital problems are not spiritual, but it's as a result of him being, excuse my language, foolish or stupid. That's why he's been maybe he's not matured enough to go into marriage. He just getting married. And in entertainment news, Comfort Kwade, the Kwade hit maker back in the early 2000s, and there were rumors earlier when he came, he was having mental challenges, and then he revived. He came back with some tracks Yes, and you know, he even performed at an RTP. I also remember his mom came into the media saying that those guys working with his son, with her son, sorry, anytime he goes to them, they give him access to drugs, and it brings back his mental disorders again. Yes, he himself even went on radio interviews and said a lot. His managers came to say a whole lot of that the mom is not helping the son and whatever. But currently there has been a picture with him and a lady, I think from a psychiatric home, he's in a deplorable state. All his hair has been taken off, a whole lot of things, they are not nice pictures of Okonfo there. So it goes back to the words of her mom that when he gets closer to those guys, they give him access to drugs, and that sent him back to his old and bad state. So let's all wish him well and see that if maybe some well wishes can, because I think the mom is exhausted financially, but she has done everything that she could to make sure that her 37-year-old son can be well again and do his job very well. In the foreign news too, we know what's going on currently in America. Yes, in so many states, black people have all been, have all come onto the streets to demonstrate against the killings against black people, especially that of George Floyd, which people took videos. He didn't even protest with the police, but they just knelt on his head for him to. Yes, the rumor that all the 4 police officers who were present have been arrested and charged, and they will be processed for court. And also, the president also said the demonstrators are looting. So if the looting stops, the shooting will stop, because when they were demonstrating and burning shops and looting and breaking into shops, the police were firing gunshots and other stuff. Other sectors of the other sectors or other people in the world have also condemned what President Donald Trump said about the issue. So that is from the United States of America when it comes to the foreign front, and we are looking forward to see whether the situation or those who killed the police officers who killed George Floyd will be prosecuted and maybe face death sentences or whatever sentences they are going to face. For being with us, this is Weekly News on Don Candy TV, and we really appreciate your time and your viewership and all your comments and everything. Yes, keep them coming. Adetuk Hub, producers of quality shea butter, natural quality shea butter, natural honey, and then tasty granite paste, and Hills Hair Bonnets, producers of quality silk hair bonnets made with silk material, and they also are in Kumasi. You can see their contacts on the screen. When you contact them wherever you are, they are going to bring your product to you. They are going to send to you, package it nicely. Yes, thanks for your time. Thanks for being with us. We're going to be with you again next week on the Weekly News Update. Thank you. Sing ciao.